Good morning, everyone. We're coming to you live again. Today, I'm in a different spot. I actually had to come to my bedroom because Honey's home, which means that he and the kids are in the den playing video games. And since there goes Lina.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I disconnected my microphone. I was panicking. Okay. Hi. Good morning.
Hi,
Oh,
Lina.
well, it's good morning where I'm at.
Yes. So Lina
Okay.
can't hear us that well because of her microphone she's using, but she can hear you and she can see your comments. So anything you have, go ahead and throw it in the comments. I'll go ahead and make sure that I'm fielding those as well. Okay, Lina, take it away.
All right. Good morning. So Naomi asked me to put together a mini lesson for you guys. And so that is indeed what I have whipped up. So we're going to be doing a short lettering workshop. So if you follow me on Instagram, you have probably seen these two posts in the last couple weeks. And so this one is day one from my hashtag Love Your Strokes lettering challenge, which is the lettering challenge that I do at the end of every month. And so a quick breakdown of how this works, because we're going to be working through these worksheets that I've made that are available for free on my website. If you look closely, you see that each one of these strokes forms a letter. So today we're going to do a short strokes walkthrough, which is where hashtag love your strokes come from. So even with like my R, well, brown is kind of a dark color, but yeah. So my I to my T, like it's not as connected as it looks. I lift my pen up in between my strokes when I form my letters, and it all will make sense when we do the demo through these worksheets. So one of the things that I think even that Naomi brought up, one of the struggles that she has with lettering is that it's like something about it, you have to unlearn the way that we've been taught to write. Hand lettering is completely counterintuitive to what we've been taught. So what I want you to do, if you are new to lettering or interested in trying lettering, like suspend what you think you know. That's trash when you come into hand lettering. Like that's not even useful. So what I'm going to be using, I printed the worksheets on the paper that I recommend, which is um, I'm using Office Depot Inkjet Pro Premium paper. It's a combination of Pro Premium, but I definitely know it's Office Depot. HP is what you'll see a lot of hand letters recommend. I like their premium paper. I do not like the price tag on that premium paper. So Office Depot definitely gets the job done. So I'm going to be using, like I said, the HP premium paper and my handy dandy Tombow markers. For this one, instead of using the big ones, the big boys, these are the Tombow dual tip brush pens. Instead of using these, which have a bit of a bigger tip and it's a little bit more flexible, we're going to start off with the smaller ones. My handy dandy organization case. All right. So my smaller ones are these. These are the Tombow Furunosuke brush pens. These are smaller tipped. They recently released them in colors and neons. So you can get these from Michael's with a coupon. But I want to say these retail for $20.99, $19.99, between 20 and 26 bucks. But I also know that the big ones, these come in like color palettes in packs of 10, and these are definitely $26.99. But you're welcome. You could always use a coupon at Michael's and get them for not $26.99, like I do. They also have them open stock, so if you just want one or two particular colors, you can get them for between $2.99 and $3.99 a marker. So let's begin. All of my letters and lettering are made up of strokes. So think of, just to demonstrate, I'm using, again, these are the worksheets that I made on my website. They're available for free. Our letters usually fall between like a certain framework, our guidelines. So you've got your ascender, which is think of yourself as the guidelines, right? So our waist is here, right? Our waistline is here. Our feet are on our baseline. Our head is in the ascender space. And then anything underneath our feet, that's the descender. Okay? So when we're writing our letters, we all start where our feet are on the baseline. So I'm going to write hello, for example. So hello is a combination of our descender loop, the compound curve. E is kind of hard to explain, so I just say E is E. L can be one of two things. L can either be the underturn or a ascender loop. And then O is just an oval. Hello. So we're going to walk through the strokes and I'm going to explain a little bit of how the stroke works. And Naomi, I have not been able to log into my Facebook yet, so I don't see any of the comments because my life is in shambles. Let's see, let's try it again.
It's okay. I got you.
Okay, good. All right. So we're going to do a walkthrough with this worksheet that literally has all 8 of our strokes. So it's set up because so we can trace it. So with our upstrokes, they're lightweight. So you're going to start at your baseline and you're going to come to your waistline, and it's a very light stroke. Not very much pressure. Don't think too hard. Here comes my daughter. Hello, child. How can mommy help you?
I want to look at.
Don't you touch that. Don't you touch that. I got this.
You need to roll it.
I don't need to roll it because it's right now, it's the right height. I don't know. Oh, thanks, Amelia. I don't know if anyone else is quarantining with children. I know Naomi is. Excuse me. Thank you. And I am too. So. Okay, baby. I understand. So these are our upstrokes. That's been her thing lately is I'm angry at you. You made me sad, because parenting is a wonderful, wonderful thing when you're raising vocal children. Okay. So I'm not tracing our upstrokes. I probably should be tracing my upstrokes so that I can maintain a certain level of consistency. But these are our upstrokes. It's very light on the pen. You're not adding any pressure when you're coming up. You're holding it. It's really light. It's delicate. Kind of like, what is it? Is it fondue? No, not fondue. Souffle. You can't make too much noise with the upstrokes because you're going to break it. Our downstrokes are the opposite of our upstrokes. So when our pen comes up, we're light, but when we're bringing the pen down, so when we're working from Amelia, the bottom of our waistline to our baseline, we're adding a bit more pressure. Hopefully you guys can see the difference. One, I'm bringing the pen down and not up, right? So that's a downstroke, upstroke. Downstrokes, upstrokes. And I definitely this worksheet is meant specifically for the Tombow Fudenosuke pens. Like I made this worksheet with this pen. So I definitely recommend this pen. I think it's great for practicing. It helps us, gives you a solid framework, because after a certain point, I generally don't use guidelines. I use them when I'm on my iPad, but when I'm doing on paper, I don't use guidelines. But that's something that you'll learn as you learn lettering. You'll figure out what you're comfortable with. And when I'm doing on paper, I don't need guidelines. Something about it just feels very constricting. It stresses me out. So and now I'm just alternating upstrokes and downstrokes just to maintain a level of consistency. Our next stroke is our underturn. And so underturns, it works a little bit like a U, because and this is what I mean by unlearning what we know about how we were taught to write. Because normally U's are, right? That's the letter U, right? It's really simple, straightforward. But the underturn and the overturn is where we have to start unlearning those things. So as you guys can see, it's like a downstroke when we're coming down, but when we get to this bottom, the pressure is going to change on the way back up. So you're going to be heavy when you come down. You're going to hit the bottom, boop, and lighten up. Hit the bottom, lighten up. Now, one of the other things to keep in mind is that you're always going to hold your pen at a slight angle. when I'm doing my lettering classes, from some of my students, they hold the pen up like this. So one of the things that I actually do in those workshops is like I come through and I push your hand, flatten that hand out, relax it, take deep breaths, keep your shoulders down. You're learning something new. You're gonna suck. Sucking is okay. So, like that, you just there, that underturn, not consistent, but that's okay. Because it happens. It happens to the best of us. So these are our underturns. And so a good word, once we finish the other strokes, that a good word that's good for practicing, at least our underturns, compound curves, and overturns is minimum. And so you probably have seen this word a lot when you're watching or seeing people talk about lettering and practicing. Minimum is a great word. My other favorite lettering word is loafer. And I'll show you why in 1 second. All right. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. I love it. All right, minimum. And then my other favorite word to practice with is loafer. And my guidelines aren't quite even here. So the way I made these worksheets is that each one of these little gray spaces, like that works as a framework for your working, like each set of guidelines has sort of a barrier. Anyway, I digress. E R. Loafer is just one of my favorite lettering words. Okay, so like I said, we just worked through the underturn, and now we're going to work through our overturn, which is the opposite of the underturn. But instead of being heavy when we start, we're going to be light when we start, like the upstroke, and then we're going to be heavy when we come back down. So when we hit this point, the top of the overturn, is when our pressure is going to change. So it's light as we come up, we're at the top, and it's heavy when you come back down. I lifted my pen just to demonstrate. You do not lift your pen in this stroke. You only lift your pen when you're doing stroke combinations to make letters. For example, the letter A is a combination, a lowercase a is a combination of the oval and the underturn. So it would look something like this. Normally when we write the letter A, right, it's sort of one, at least for me, it's one fell swoop. I feel like my camera's not zoomed in. That's okay. Right? That's how you write the letter A. That's how, like, it's a circle and you draw your line. But for the letter A, it's a combination of two strokes. Kind of like the regular A, but you're going to do your oval, which I'm going to get to next, and an underturn. So it forms a little different. So I would use two overturns to make like the lowercase n. All right, overturn 1 and overturn 2. Or I'd use an overturn and a compound curve. Overturn, compound curve. Right? So that's how that works. And this is really a mini workshop. I was a little nervous prepping this, but working through this worksheet, I think is a great option. So yeah. So now, like, I've shown how upstrokes, downstrokes, underturns, overturns. Now we have the oval. Now the oval, so these next 1, 2, 3, 4 strokes is where like people's hands get drunk, right? Like they don't know what they're doing. And like this is where a lot of the anxiety with lettering comes in. But believe me, if I can do it, you can do it. We got this. So unlike the letter O, where we start at the top, they come back to the top, the oval, you're going to start on the side. So you're going to start, I'm going to write an O as if I'm writing an oval. So you're going to start to the right, come to the left, and then come back up. You're going to meet where you ended. So the oval works like this. Begin, hold your pen at a slant, relax those shoulders, up, down, and around. And it's an oval. And another thing to keep in mind is that we all write a little different. Our regular penmanship is a little different. So when you are learning lettering, take into consideration your penmanship, your style. How do you write your O's? How do you write your P's? What's another weird letter? E's, I think. Because you've got like those kind of E's, these kind of E's. You know, I've gone through several E's in my life because my full name is Evelina and it's got 2 E's. My daughter's name is Amelia. It has 2 E's. So, I mean, you know, my mother, though, she has always been a stickler for penmanship. So generally, I think my regular penmanship is kind of neat. Here, I'm getting a little lazy. Clean that up. So those are our ovals. Again, it's light when you start in the middle of your letter. It's light when you come up. When you get to the top, your pressure is going to change. When you get to the bottom, your pressure is going to change again. Hold your pen with a slight slant, like, you know, relax your hand if you need to. Take a little hand break. And now we're going to work through our compound curve. So the compound curve is also, that's another tricky one because it's light when you come up, heavy when you come down, and then light when you come back up. And it's not hard like our regular N. It looks like an uppercase N, but the structure is a bit different. It's a bit more fluid. It's a bit more relaxed. And I don't do drills as much as I probably should. If you enjoy drills, I definitely recommend doing drills. And a drill could literally be a page full of one stroke. That's not my ministry. So, you know, I like to practice. I like to practice full words. It makes learning and practicing lettering a bit less anxious, like anxiety inducing for me if everything on my page doesn't look the same. And this is our ascender loop. Yay! So this stroke looks like the P, right? But it's not a P. So scratch that idea. You don't write this stroke at all like you write the letter P. So we're going to start in the middle. It's kind of like we did with the oval. But when we get to the top, our pressure is going to change and it's going to be heavy when we come back down. That one's a little drunk. When I'm explaining it, my strokes are usually very, very drunk. But once I get kind of into the mode, it all comes together a bit better. That's our ascender loop. So think like when I wrote hello, right? It was ascender loop, compound curve. Even when I do like a lowercase k, ascender loop, okay. Or if you want to be fancy with like lemon, ascender loop, E-M-O-N. And there are a lot of different ways to write the letter O. As you guys see with that O, I didn't make that an oval. That's like, you know, a funky swishy swish, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. It's a later lesson. And then we have our descender loop. So ascender loops, remember when we have our baseline, waistline, ascender loops. So that space between your waistline and your ascender, that's why this is called the ascender loop. The descender loop happens below the baseline, but in the descender line. So we've got our descender loop. And we have officially gone through all of our strokes. So again, tools I recommend, like I said, the ink, the Office Depot inkjet pro paper, because it's gentle on our nibs. The Tombow Food No Suki pens, you can get these in packs of 2 that have your hard nib, soft nib, which kind of gives you a little bit of a difference, but I recommend Tombow brush pens in general when you're practicing and learning lettering. So Naomi, thank you for that.
See, guys, I practiced while she was doing it too. A little bit. And she would say my stuff was drunk, but
It's okay. It's all right.
I have to tell you guys too. I did last year when these went on sale at Michael's. They were a good price. I bought a bunch of them because I said I'm going to learn hand lettering. This has been the most difficult task that I've taken. I have a hard time with this, which I don't understand why, but I'm going to keep practicing so we can get there.
That's all it is. It's literally, it's practice. It's like one of the things that, people say what you want about Kobe Bryant and his legacy. One of the things that he was a huge, huge advocate of is like boring, regular, day in, day out practice. Not there are no shortcuts and it's not and it's with anything that any of us crafters have learned. We haven't taken shortcuts. Like, it's been money, right? We've had some fail projects, right? We've had, fail equipment, things that we've bought that we realize that we don't like, but it's all practice. Like, it's a practice. Think of it like yoga. Like, we're never, like, nobody's an expert in the beginning. We all have to practice at it. So this is like, my daughter's 3. So this is 3 years, right, of straight up like practice. I've quit several times. Like, there are some classes, like lettering courses or like font making courses, that I refuse to pay for because it's just like, I'm gonna figure it out one way or the other. So this is 3 years worth of boring, regular practice.
So guys, don't give up. I'm not gonna give up. Last month, I was ready to throw in the towel. Last week, looking at Nina's her challenge, I was like, I can't do this. My stuff looks like a 2-year-old did it, but I'm gonna keep practicing. Look at
her, Mom.
Yep. See, there she is. She's right there. You see her face?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my
That's why I'm locked in my bedroom. Right. So you guys, if you like this, you're gonna love Lina's workshops that she actually does. She's got some stuff online. You can check her out on Instagram at Mighty Made It. She's also here on Facebook at Mighty Made It, and she's got a website. So check her out. She does amazing hand lettering. She even sells some of her stuff that she hand letters, and then she digitizes it for you.
Yes. Which is a really, actually, I realized that I enjoy that a whole lot. That so even like I have a shop, and I've gotten into drop shipping, so I'll put some of my stuff on like merchandise because I'm just like, this is so soothing to do. But then you end up with a computer full of files that you don't use.
Right. But you keep going because it's fun to do. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
But
everybody, thank you so much.
And thank you for being here, Lina. You guys have a great day. Like Lina said, still some joy. And I'll be back this afternoon with a teacher stuff for you.
All right. Bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, you.